And every other
Sine
expansion
wave.
has either been a pile of brown nasty stuff that comes out of your dog's booty, or
Chocolate?
just okay. Yeah.
These are the clips. These are the clips on and you need to put on TikTok or Byte, okay?
Okay.
It's fun. But anyway, today is a special WoW, World of Warcraft on the Whiskey, MMOs, and more. Because after all, Blizzard has been dropping a ton of stuff left and right about the upcoming expansion of Shadowlands and making it seem that maybe we're seeing a new Blizzard. A discussion for later about that. Okay. So, anyways, does anybody have any other entry opening things to say?
Nothing much, but cheers, guys.
All right. Wait.
Oh, it's getting heavy.
My lemon.
It's getting heavy.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.
Yep.
Last face you got.
Ditto.
Sorry.
That's how I say it.
The lemon in my whiskey here. So yeah, there we are. So up first are our dailies. After all, you gotta get your dailies in because that's what you do. You log on, know what you're doing, do your dailies because no. So first off, there was a bunch of alpha invites went out. I don't think any one of us got one. Okay. But there's a lot of things coming out. And what's interesting about this, I'm going to start off with the dailies because that type of the level squish, okay? We all know they're going to take the 120 and squish it down to 50 and expanding up to 60. They have a brand new starting zone. Actually, for once, as my son pointed out to me, WoW is notorious for setting you on near the pool, then tell you go swim. Not throw you in the pool, but go swim, okay? And so it's kind of cool. And also, when you finally finish this entry quest, after doing like a world boss, not quite, a dungeon, not quite, you get into the starter city, they give you a mount, and you get flying. So I'm going to start with Gotfuz, since he's our guest. So what about all this brand new stuff? The entry zone of being a brand new character in the level squish.
Well, from what I saw, I watched a lot. Excuse my baby in the background; they're going crazy. How about someone else go first?
Okay. We'll go with
Sir Jaziel.
So what are we talking about?
It's the level squish. It's starting
the level squish.
Both of them, yeah.
I saw the level squish coming. In fact, well, anyone who's watched my show for the last couple of years, or couple expansions, I should say, even knows that I've been talking about that's gonna be on their minds after they pass 100, level 100, and they did that. They went to 120. So they went well past where I thought that they would think, well, maybe we ought to crunch not only statistics down, but crunch down the levels. And I think the only problem with it right now is that folks just not completely understanding what's going on with it. You're still going to be just as powerful if you're max level entering into the new expansion. You're not. Now, I'm not in alpha, so I don't know how the experience is. I'm just going off of what they're telling me, and we all know sometimes Ian's right on, and sometimes he's blowing a little smoke up a certain dark area. So I'm going to trust them this time, which I did with BFA as well, and it bit me on the nether regions. But to me, it looks, and from what I'm hearing from people, I'm not going to give their names because I don't want them to get trouble for the NDA, but it is translating rather well. And as far as the starting area, from what I've seen, the really only objection that I see with it, and I'll get to the positives after, is that there maybe should be more of a individual thing for people who are looking to go into tanking, or because it is a holy trinity game, always has been, and I don't see it ever changing, of tanking, healing, and DPS. And there are some habits that that starting area for brand new players might instill to players who aren't tanking, to go in there and get ahead of your tank and do things that are going to irritate your healer. So what I thought might be a remedy to that is to give you a different experience, or to, well, that might be too much. That might be too much. I was thinking, or to let you experience all three. But obviously, there's only a couple of classes that could do that, so I'm not sure how they would integrate that into the game. But um,
Well, I mean,
as
it
far as
seems
the
like
rest of it, it looks awesome, and I'm glad. I'm really happy that, because there's a lot of folks who get into the game and they're just lost, man. They have no idea how to do. You saw
right.
it yourself, Kenneth, and when we started playing, especially when we did the experiment with Classic, there were people in
Right.
there that didn't even realize there was in-game mail and stuff.
Well,
So
that's the thing with that. That's what they
but
showed, but the different YouTube people who are doing the alpha, they've shown like the fact that
mm,
the starting levels, 1 through 10. There's I call it a world boss. The guy who was fighting a bear, right? It's a 1 through 5 kind of a killer boss, right? But it ended up being he
mm,
did it by himself, right? So that to me is like that's a starting point of getting a group together, killing whereabouts. There's even an entry level dungeon that
right.
I think it's 1 to 5 people in the group, okay? But still, it's a way to start that whole, like I said, the to testing out how you can tank versus healing, what DPS in that entry thing, I mean, it seems like it's like I said, it's like my son mentioned this. They're notorious about putting you on the edge of the pool and then saying go swim, and that's it. They don't tell you anything. So, Gotfuz, are you ready back to discuss this new thing that's going on with the squish as well as? Oh, by the way, before you do, the other thing about the squish, right, is that someone made a comment. The eye levels are down, so is the damage down. So it looks like you're doing less, but you're still doing more because you are at that highest level that's in the game now.
Right.
Like
So
weapons.
when it comes to the changes in beginners, from what I've seen, I love all of it. Introduced all the spells away, kind of like you before the game used to be kind of be like, here's your character. We'll help you with the name and story and fun, and it kind of just let you go, and you had to figure everything out. And this is back before Google. Um, didn't know where to look, didn't know about Thoughtbot, and kind of went. So now they're kind of giving what every other modern experience has. They build up ability. This is one.
Hang on a
There's
minute. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. You're telling the same problem I'm having. I only hear every other word he's saying
Yeah.
Is this
because
better?
people on my stream are saying the same thing. It's like he's being bleeped out.
Is
I'm
this better?
not bleeping him out.
Is
Try
this
it
better?
again. So, but go ahead.
Okay. Starting from the top. So from what it looks like, the beginning zone is allowing you to ease into the game, whereas before that just kind of pushed you into the game, didn't explain a thing. It was like playing Magic the Gathering with your friend, just saying, "Okay, now roll this dice and tell
Yep.
me what you want to do." And they're like, "What do you mean?" "Well, just roll this dice and tell me what you want to do, and we'll go from there." WoW seems to be taking the modern approach of, well, we can make the game complex again, but we kind of have to help people get to where they need to get. So now they're, like you said, they're squishing the item level down and the levels down. But they're also making it to where they unlock the abilities each level. When you have your beginning zone, you're going to unlock abilities and get to try them out for a time. It feels more like you're getting rewarding things quicker, but also being taught kind of the basics of how to use them.
Right.
And then that encounter that you're talking about with that bear has a mechanic to where you can solo it, but it does make it a little bit harder. And if you have friends, it makes it a lot easier. So you're going to have
Yep.
the uh, mechanics of a tank, a healer, somewhat being necessary, and then you're going to have, of course, which should always be the case, the hybrid class is shining, being able to do a little bit of everything and being the best at soloing content.
Yeah. That's good. Solomon, do you have any comments about this? What you've seen about this new stuff coming out with the the entry area and the item squish.
Ditto.
Yeah, so a couple things that I noticed to put down was that obviously once you finish up the dungeon, you travel to your starter city. They were showing the alliance, so you're going off to sorry, my only subscriber just a sub for 13 months. Thank you, Colt. Wow, thank you so much. Anyways, Starter City, and then once you're there, you get the quest for BFA, so that helps you with that. You're level 10. You get a mount. And you get the ability to fly. Now, mind you, it's a low level flying, but you start. So they give you, when you come out of this whole starter area into their actual game at level 10, remember, 50 is where we're going, the base game, and then 60, I think, is where you're going to hit to be able to finish Shadowlands. You're really set yourself well to start the game.
So then is it still going to take like half a year to get to level 60? Like,
I don't know.
because I wouldn't mind that. I really wouldn't.
So what the projections are right now, is that it's going to be around 20 hours. But that's like fresh person never played the game before.
To get to 50 though, not 60.
20 hours
right?
to 10.
No, to get to 60.
To get to 60.
Okay.
What kind of grind is
that's like
that?
20. I mean, just think about it though. That's one character max level. And that's you have no clue what's going on, right? You don't know any of the best places.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
You're just kind of like, I think I'll go that way.
I play Black Desert Online, so my standards are pretty high.
Right. Well, and I think that the thing about the WoW community right now versus where it was is, if you really want to learn the fastest way to level in like 4 hours, you just pop on a YouTube video and you'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll just do this. Or you'll go to Zygor and hit them up. But what I always encourage people is the first time leveling through, make the dumb mistakes. Go to the random places.
Learn your class.
Yeah, learn your class. Get into really dumb situations. If you think you can do a dungeon without a tank, go ahead and try and figure out yourself the importance of the tank and all that. But yeah, I right now I think leveling, you can probably power level in under 10 hours to 120. It's not the funnest way to play the game, but it's possible.
Like Finish It Is says, pay $60, max level in 5 minutes.
Right.
5 minutes is too long.
5 minutes.
And Solomon, someone thinks you're too young to be drinking whiskey, so. All right.
I'll take that as a compliment.
That's our
Thank you.
dailies. That's our entry to this whole thing, dailies, right? So next up, our escort quest. We're going to make sure the audience gets safely to where you need to go, okay? So one thing I've been talking to my son, who's been watching all these videos, and we can get confirmation from the more WoW experts. He called it the unbloating of skills. I'm not sure you're aware that apparently in either Legion or Cataclysm, they dumbed down the tree. It made it so that it was too easy and not to mention too easy, but no uniqueness into the classes. Is now with Shadowlands, they're adding it all back. Okay, so that by doing this, also you can become more utility in your class. You can actually become the guy who can be, you can be whatever you want to be, including rating. And your actual your class ceiling goes up because you know more about your class can do when it comes to a raid or something else. So I'm going to toss this off to Sergio, who's more of an expert in this. So what about all this changes in the talent tree, changes in the way they're doing the class skills and whatnot?
Well, the class pruning was what they had called it at the time.
Class pruning, okay.
Where they went in, they felt that, well, this has had different names through the years. It definitely, bloat is a great descriptor of what had happened. Over each expansion, people had expected new abilities, new spells, new things to do with their characters, and over the years we went from it was pretty difficult to fill up 3 bars worth of stuff for each character to I have no idea what to put on here. I just have spells and abilities coming out my ears. I have no idea which ones. There were tons of spells and abilities that no one even used. There were some that were very rarely used and really were just not that great in the first place. And it just was too crazy, especially again going back to new players. They would go on there, and sure, they had Noxic and Icy Veins and Wowhead there after a while that they could turn to. And Gotfuz mentioned Thoughtbot. I haven't thought of Thoughtbot in years.
Oh wow! Even I
But
remember that.
yeah, and
Thoughtbot.
Alakazam before that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Alakazam was before that even. And people could go do those and look at the guides and whatnot, but man, it was just crazy. There was too much, to where they pruned it down so harshly that people are literally having rotations that are 3 buttons. And all the utilities gone, all the group and raid abilities that we use to buff each other and whatnot are pretty much gone, or have been. So it's really nice, because there were a lot of us, especially the paladins, and well, there's a couple of others, but paladins are the big ones, I think, that lost more than any other class in the game as far as giving buffs and seals and all that other stuff, that were sorely missed. And it didn't make sense that they were saying, well, we took those away because we were trying to have class identity and we were trying to make these characters make more sense in a lore, with lore and everything. And really, they took so much away from us that I think it had the opposite effect. It turned
Mm.
everyone into a self-sufficient machine, solo playing.
Yeah.
We you didn't have to buff people anymore. You didn't really have any utility. I mean, there's a couple of folks, mostly the healers, that still had utility. That was about it.
Mm.
And so I'm happy, although there are some that they've added back that I'm like, I don't know if that needed to be added back in.
Yeah,
But
collective thinks that simplicity made the game better, and that maybe they're catering to the wrong group. Maybe so. I mean,
uh,
I don't know if a percentage is involved here, okay, about who's bigger or better, right? And finish it is says Pally for life.
Gotfuzz has a question.
Yeah. So
Wait a minute.
I've
Wait, wait,
kind of
wait, 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 wait. Shadeless is casting shade on us, okay? Come on. I thought he was shadeless. He says, "Oh
yeah, he
man,
needs to change his
are
name
we
again.
talking about that one game?" Like, wow,
So-
man, casting shade. There you go. Sorry, Gutbuzz. Go ahead.
What does he know about the game? He only played for an hour and then he ditched me and never came back.
Dang.
the truth hurts. Um, so here's a history for all those who will listen, and some of you will know. So you start off with the game in vanilla, right? You have a ton of moves. They all have ranks, and you get your spells and you learn them, and you actually have to physically go to your trainer, learn the spell, pay some
That's right.
dollar,
That's
and
right.
then
Classic. Remember
and then
that.
yeah. So Burning Crusade kind of kept up that same thing. They added more spells, they added new areas, they added a whole bunch of new mechanics and stuff. So they had a foundation, and then your character got more on top of that foundation. Well, then Wrath of the Lich King comes in. Same thing, same talents, same kind of everything, but they're adding more onto that. So what happened was it hits Cataclysm. The game is giant at the time. This is when the game has 15 million subscribers, right? 15 million people playing the game. And you have so much of a diverse player base that they're thinking, okay, well, we just unlocked looking for raid, which is a feature where you would hit the I
Remember that.
button, and then you can click on join, and you can wait an allotted time and join into a raid that's a lot easier mechanics, but you can get gear from the raid and experience what high end raiding would be, to a lesser degree and for lesser gear. Well, what they did in Cataclysm was they said, okay, well, we're getting a lot of complaints that it's really hard to do your rotation and to play the raid at the same time. So the philosophy changed from, well, everyone's really good at doing everything come Mist to Pandaria, which is the next expansion that hits. So what they did was from Mists on, they went and made the game simpler and simpler and simpler. So you'll see in Warlords of Draenor, that they made the game so simple by giving everyone everything, right? So everyone had the ability to do any buff and no one was special. You didn't need to bring a shaman for shaman things because there were 2 other classes that could do shaman things. So then when Legion hits, they go, oh man, we made the game so much easier, not by taking away things, but by giving everyone all the candy that they wanted. So they pruned everything. So they took everything away to make people unique. Well, the issue was they didn't fix how classes worked to make those core classes function. They took away, it's like taking away your muffler. You still need the muffler. They had the bolt on the end of the muffler, but they took the whole muffler with it. So
Mm.
essentially, what's happened with Legion and Battle for Azeroth is instead of adding in your abilities back to make the characters work, they've added in Azerite gear, corruptions, and those things are gear, but they're spells as well, to where you're getting some of your abilities kind of back, but it's not really getting your abilities back because as soon as you lose that piece of gear, you lose that spell. It's gone.
Mm.
So that's where everyone's kind of like, well,
Hmm.
what happened between Legion and Battle for Azeroth was that Legion, you had your weapon unlocked skills. Well, as soon as you lost that weapon, you lost a quarter of your skills. So you have a lot of classes that were lucky, got some of those skills back in talents. They got some of those skills back in spells. You have some classes like Feral Druid, you're out of luck. You're not getting those things back.
Hmm.
So
Well, that's
they
good.
kind of,
Thank you.
yeah, there was a kind of a history of they wanted to suit everyone's needs, but in suiting everyone's
Yeah.
needs, they kind of made the
You
game
try to please
worse.
everyone, and you play on pleasing no one. So Collective was pointing out, he said Burning Crusade was probably the best. Breath of the Witch King basically is a continuation of that. They agree with you. Yep, Cataclysm ruined everything, and Mop destroyed the game. Fish it is says Vanilla over Wrath over BC over Legion over uh, WOD over Pandarian over BFA. Farmers and Podcast says Mop is the first expansion I didn't buy and still haven't. Like the says, I played Mop. It was a lax expansion I played. Well, he actually played Legion too, right? So BFA was stupid though, also making me grind rep to unlock races, more time sink. But yes, put a bad taste in my mouth. I have a real job and a family. I don't have 8 hours a day to play their game. Solomon, anything you want to add to this discussion? Oh, he's Mike's off.
I said ditto.
I knew it. I thought I was gonna say did okay.
So with
That's
that
right.
last thing, if I may, with that last thing,
Yeah.
that what Collective is speaking about. So in a recent interview for Ian, he said someone asked him a question and it basically had to do with time gating and doing all these things and people just not having the time and
Yeah.
feeling so compelled to your main character to play your main character. If you put any time into an alt, you feel behind immediately. Well, he said, you know what, in Shadowlands you can do enough stuff during the week to where you feel like you're done with that
Mm.
character. That character will feel like it's done again. And that's
That's
what
good.
I remember in Wrath was I'd be able to play my Feral Druid and go, you know what, there's nothing I can get on my Feral Druid, I'm gonna go play my Lock.
This is leading toward a different discussion. I mean, actually add to the end, okay? The fact that, a lot of us, well, I had kids when it happened, right? But I remember back at Dark Age of Camelot, where I literally would take a Saturday to do a raid through one of the characters in that game, okay? And that's like Molten Core was in original vanilla. It took a long time to play it. Like finish it is says I have a 60-hour job, a 60-hour a week job, college, wife, 2 kids. I still make time to play laugh out loud. I just don't sleep much, which is interesting because I mean, a lot of us, well, some of us were younger, okay, when we actually were kids with married, no kids, okay, and had more time with no jobs, had all the time to play the game. And now that we're older, we're the fan base that you want us to point to, and yet we don't have the time anymore. Now, I don't know if any new people are coming in, the younger generation who don't have all this time, who have a lot ton of times, is going to play WoW. Maybe they're just off doing something else.
Are,
I think
are we talking about that now, or are you going to wait until the end?
Yeah, go ahead. I mentioned it, so let's talk about it now. Okay.
Well, I was wondering, like, I think you do have a point there. Like, everybody who played WoW Classic, like when actually WoW came out, totally different person, was probably in college more or less, didn't have kids, didn't have family, didn't have responsibilities. And of course, as the time goes, the game has to adapt and change to its player base, like you said. But at the same time, I also feel like there's another example that I discussed with my cousin not too long ago, and it's about movies. And it's like we remember growing up liking a particular movie, and then growing up, the movies just don't feel the same anymore. Like regardless
Right.
of whether if it's the same franchise. And then I would argue, well, they're not made for us anymore. We've grown up. The movie stayed the same. And so even though I get the idea, like that's a totally valid point. Like, you're a grown up, you have a job, you have all these things. There's only so many hours in a day anymore. But the genre, or maybe even the franchise, either or whatever, they're not catering to you anymore. You're no longer the person that they're trying to market towards. Now, I get that there's a good and bad aspect of that, because just take Star Wars, for example. That's, I think, one example where they should have marketed and geared towards the franchise to the actual fans, and instead of but I think there might be a delicate balance. I'm not saying what I'm saying is right, but I could understand if somebody said,
You're right.
well, that's one way of looking at it, but here's another way. And I really don't know where I fall that in between those two arguments. So I'm just playing devil's advocate, I guess.
What about you, Sir Jazio? I mean, I know that like you and I were older. I mean, 2004 when WoW came out, I was already playing Darkest Day Camelot. I had kids. My youngest daughter was born in '94. She was 10 years old. I didn't want to play a lot of time. I did play too much, right? But still, my kids grew up playing World of Warcraft, had a lot of time to do these kind of things. What are your thoughts about? I mean, are they catering to now our crowd, the old generation, or is that young kids are not wanting to spend 8 hours playing a game anymore?
No, I think they're looking at both. I think that what you're saying is absolutely correct, and Gotfuz kind of brought back memories there of Wrath Lich King era, where you do what you need to get done, and if you couldn't log on for a day or two after that, it didn't sting as much it has the
Yeah.
last 3-4 expansions. Yeah, 4 expansions now. That if you don't log on for a day, you feel it. It hurts, especially if you're trying to keep up with your friends.
Oh yeah.
If you're even casually progressive, it's bad.
Yeah.
And I am really looking forward to them kind of rolling it back and giving us guys that have, we're older now, we've got families, and we have jobs where we work longer hours, and we have more responsibilities. We can't, there's some days we're just not going to be able to get on, but they're aiming at our kids too, and our younger siblings, for some of us that are of that mindset that, yeah, they just want to get on and play a game for a couple of hours and get off of it, go do Netflix or Hulu,
Yeah.
or go back to underwater basket weaving. I don't know what kids play these days, but
Tiger King.
Tiger King. That is we need to talk about that one of these days, but not today. That's a mess. Show is such a mess. Anyway, I have noticed, especially with my children, my son is just now starting to get into MMOs. Not just like Wizard 101 or whatever that we played a couple of years ago, but he's actually wanting to play New World when it comes out, and Shadowlands when it comes out. So, I'm pretty sure he's normally the type that he just wants to hop on for an hour, maybe 2 in a game, and then be able to hop off and go to the next game. And so I think they're aiming at both, and I think they can please both of us to some degree. But I definitely have more time now, but I'm in a very special circumstance where I became disabled, and so I work limited hours. And if I was still working for the SWAT team or the ambulance, yeah, no way, dude. I'd have like maybe an
Right.
hour, maybe 2 hours if I wanted to lose an hour of sleep, uh, which I used to do when I first started playing, when Vanilla came out. I wasn't married yet. I had no children. I wasn't even. I was still at the university. I wasn't in seminary yet, so I had
Dang.
I had more time, and it wasn't until that next year when Burning Crusade had just been announced that I was married and then got accepted in seminary, and then I don't know how I still managed to spend so much time in Burning Crusade, other than I just didn't sleep.
Yeah. What you got, Fuzz? I mean, this is interesting. 'Cause I keep wondering if Blizzard is. I mean, Blizzard has tried to cater to everyone, and sometimes when you try to cater to everyone, you lose people, especially your hardcore. And it seems like this is moving backwards to a better time for Blizzard. But I can't help but think they're also understanding that we, who are the core gamers or who have grown up, still want to play the game. We don't have the time. But you, I know you had a lot of time. You've been playing only WoW. I think only WoW.
I've been playing Destiny too, and some
Okay.
other things every once in a while. But yeah, I think that from what I'm gathering and what I'm seeing them do, their interactions are very open to listen to everyone in the community. Holinka tweeted the other day. Holinka, for those who don't know, is a old time WoW dev who used to work for Blizzard, and I think he left like Ian did. He left and then came back,
Okay.
but he was tweeting and asking, "Hey, is there any old PvP, PvE, any kind of old set bonuses or legendaries that you missed that you'd want to see in Shadowlands?" And I'm like, well, this is the kind of talk we need from Blizzard. Is the kind of talk that wants
Yeah.
to hear from everybody and see how they can cater the game to cater to the hardcore, high skill cap people, but also the people like you're talking about that don't have as much time as they have. As much
Right.
as people hate on Cataclysm, Cataclysm had some of the best of both worlds at the time. It did have some missteps, but Cataclysm did a good job of people who were new to the game. You could get caught up real quick, and you didn't feel like
Right.
you were lagging behind to take a day or two off. But Cata
Yep.
also had the really, I mean, I dare anybody to go and solo that encounter Spine of Deathwing. Just the next expansion, you couldn't like solo that content. It was so hard. So it made it to where it was very apparent that there are levels to this game. Some people can get to the LFR, but it made it to where it was like, yeah, if you're really good, you could do heroic Deathwing. But guess what? If you're in the 5%, you could do mythic, Deathwing. At the time it was heroic and it was gated differently, but um that's what I want to see is don't so much make it to where everything's time gated, make things skill gated, and the people who aren't great at the game aren't going to know unless they try to step into new content. And guess what, that challenge will either make them play what they like to play, or that it'll make them go, okay, well, I need to learn how to play this game better.
Yeah. I don't know why Solomon, if I was a podcast back there and said, gross, okay, but Collective said, I tried BFA about 3 months ago and I felt so far behind that it was just defeating to try and play. I wanted to be a little fox. It's a 1 or 2 month rep grind to get the rep to be a fox. It's just crazy. I played WoW Classic as a working adult. It was okay that it took months to get to the end game because everyone took a month to get there. And content stayed relevant for years, not months. That was Collective talking about. Now, Fires Podcast was saying that Goonies is still a great movie. We can disagree with that. Finished it is says 40 hours a week at minimum rating, Molten Core and BWL, Blackwing Lair. I was fresh out of high school at the time. That's not counting farming for mats. Yeah. Wait, Solomon, Star Wars was great. You calm down, dude. I finished this. I prefer SWTOR, just nobody plays it. Let's see. Kids these days have ADD. They bounce between games like I change underwear. Finish this is trying to put in a Riot plug here for Valorant. Of course, had people talking about Carol Baskin. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I brought it up. So, all right, we're moving on to the next step. Okay, huh? I did. I screwed
Oh,
up.
nothing. Did someone say that?
I
It must
mentioned
have been
Tiger
Fuzz.
King, and
It was
they're
Fuzz.
saying Carol Baskin. So, but no. What next step is? I think this is interesting, okay? Because the next thing we're talking about is part of our delivery quest. Okay, is Torghast. They call it Tower of the Damned.
Hmm.
And what I thought interesting was my son was giving me much more feedback because watching the video while we are cooking pizza. Highly playable, inspired by roguelike games, ever-changing halls and chambers. It is a procedurally generated dungeon that changes every single time you go into it. You can play a 1 through 5 party group, a member party. And it's like this has it. My son says this has the thing that could probably just change the game. Do this well, Blizzard could just blow open whatever it is, okay? This Torghast, okay? So I want to go to Gotfuz first. I know he had posted several clips of this thing. Torghast looks really interesting, and it looks really like it could be that game changer that Blizzard's looking for, at least for in this expansion.
Yeah, so Torghast is, imagine you're trying to do an event and you need special things to make to craft a piece of gear. So legendaries are going to be craftable, and the currency is going to be behind Torghast. Well, Torghast has different difficulties depending on your item level. And you can try the hardest difficulty, but you're going to continuously die. And that's how Torghast works. So Visions
It's
right
not
now
mythic
is
though, right? It's not
um
mythic,
I
right? It's not.
think I think they
It
called them
it
like
scales
beginner,
to your item.
medium. Well, it
So help me
scales.
out, right? So it scales to your item level, right?
No,
You could choose what you want to do.
you could choose what you want to
Okay,
do. And your rewards
thank
are
you.
kind of based off of that. And that's kind of something that they're going to be tuning as well, I'm sure, with the item level increases per raid tier. But from what I saw, they're looking at it to make sure that gear is not going to drop like Visions, but it's going to be stuff that is required for crafting. And then it's not going to be like Visions, to where you basically, right now, if I were to do all my dailies all week, I could do 3 runs. I could ruin every one of those runs and fail miserably and not get any power gains. Well, this is not going to be like that. Is You're going to be able to do it in infinite amount of times. You're going to have the ability to do the run as hard as you want to do it.
No
But
timer.
the
Yep.
and there's no timer. But they're thinking about putting a timer, they said, in so that people don't just try to do
What?
pulls on cooldown.
Oh,
So that way you just kind of like sit
okay.
there. I'll come back to my computer 10 minutes when I have bloodlust again, right?
All right.
Yeah, I mean, because people are gonna do that. Um, but what it looks like is it looks like it's gonna be a mini game within the game, catering to people who want to push their characters to the hardest degree, but also to the most wacky degree, because they're going to have abilities that are only in this, that just like, some of them remove the cooldown on blink, some of them, for a mage, increase your damage when you're coming out of stealth of your blizzard by 850%. So they're going to be able to be like, okay, we can make this insanely hard and give you insane abilities and let you just come up with crazy ideas to figure it
Hmm,
out. So it's
okay.
really, it is exciting the imagination. It's really making it to where it's like you're like a super mage to, but everything else is going to be to the nth degree as well. That just wouldn't make any sense in the normal game where you have everyone at that crazy power
Hmm.
level.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Solomon, I don't know. I mean, I know you play MMOs, right? I'm not sure if you play any MMOs I've had or any other
Ditto.
games that have this roguelike thing. What are your thoughts on this Torghast thing? I mean, I
Never.
know you play MMOs, right? And not really WoW as much, but this roguelike dungeon that's procedurally generated, will it bring you into the game? I mean, will you actually like, I want to sub now?
If I wanted to play a procedure generated game, I just might as well play Minecraft. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Or
Wow.
Spelunky. I was asking my son what other games would like this Spelunky mentions. Okay, so Spelunky. Okay.
I mean, it sounds interesting. I know there was an MMO that tried to do that, but I think they did it unsuccessfully, which was WildStar. Ironically,
Oh,
Whilst
right.
they had like this thing where you entered like the simulation or virtual reality or whatever, but you would get like different variations of a particular dungeon, but it wasn't procedurally generated.
okay.
It was just a crapshoot. But I mean, that's not what it kind of reminds me of.
Okay. I mean, I know that. I mean, I played Darkness of Camelot. Darkness Falls was a place I didn't mind hanging out in. I didn't mind running it over and over again. It was fun, but it's not procedure generated. So that's why I see I see Torghast being a place that people just come back to over and over again. So, Jaziel, what are your thoughts about this?
I love it. It sounds like a lot of fun. So it's going to definitely have some replayability there. That if you were to go into any other raid or dungeon, it's the same thing over and over and over again. The only thing that's different is the people that you go in with and who casts what when, and when the hunter is going to accidentally hit the wrong mob and pull everything on you.
I'm totally. I'm gonna roll a hunter now.
But it sounds great, and it sounds like a great way to sharpen your skills and to just go in and have some fun for however long. I was really happy that there was no timer on it, but I absolutely see what Gotfuz is saying there,
Right.
that
I
there
agree.
are folks that are going to go in there and
Yep.
and take advantage of that fact that they can just sit in there all day to get through it. But I hope they do put a timer on it, that it's generous.
Or something.
And,
Yeah,
and
something that's
yeah, it still
yeah.
allows you to kind of take your time and have fun. Maybe make some strategies for the new environment that you're placed into each time you go in there.
Yeah.
As far as would it alone make me want to resub, not alone, but this is just one more awesome thing that I think they've got going for them.
Yeah, fair enough. So Yoshi points out this sounds like the dungeon run thing in Hearthstone. Now, mind you, I've not played Hearthstone in a while, and I didn't know they had dungeon runs in Hearthstone.
Don't
So
you like go
that's
up
interesting.
against random set individuals in a row?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, so we'll move on to now. These are side notes where something you want to bring up. Solomon, is there anything you want to bring up that we didn't cover that you want to talk about? No, I know. Okay.
No, not really. Just ditto.
Wait
All right.
for
So
Solomon
Jaziel,
to-
you got anything they didn't mention you want to bring up?
No, everything I wanted to talk about tonight's in the notes.
Okay.
So
I know we're going to talk about the class abilities in a minute, right? So, Gotfuz, anything we missed so far that I know not in the notes you wanted to bring up?
I did for Solomon's time. I want him to bring up what would make him play this game.
Ooh.
What would he need to see to make it go, you know what? I hate fuzz.
Spell Jesus with a lowercase j. That the heretical man.
the fact that Twitter does not have an edit just kills you every time, dude.
I got a Bible right here. I swear. I love Jesus. I'm thumping the Bible. I love Jesus.
And he's
Top of the Bible.
The topic
love
is
aliens.
the gospel, and he spells Jesus
Black
with a lowercase
people.
j.
White people. I love
I
people.
missed that.
Love Jesus.
Okay. So Yoshi said, I didn't know dittos were crossing over from Pokemon. Oh, man.
Oh,
He's going to
God,
delete it, repost it now. He has to.
I know. Yeah, I didn't see that. I must have missed that one. I realized I wasn't following him on Twitter. I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? What they fucking around like, on Twitter? Like, what Twitter? I'm like, oh wait. So like, that's not at what the trigger? Like, I'm like at the G the trigger. I'm like, whoa, okay.
He's got his kid on there today too, man. It's awesome.
No, he's like, is that the bird one or one that looks like a TV?
All right, this is this is part of this where we do storyline quest, talking our story.
Wait, I didn't answer his question though.
Oh, sorry. Oh yeah. I thought you were going to go ditto again. Okay, so
I have an answer, but it's a bit of a joke though.
Oh, okay. Well, good joke. It's a good joke.
It's one word. Okay, you ready? Anime.
If
I gotta go throw up. I'll be back.
What? Anime shell shaded.
Yeah, you gotta have, you gotta cater toward the people who want their waifus, bro.
Did you see someone did The Witcher in anime?
Yeah,
I didn't see that. Is it a mod?
that's sacrilege, dude.
No, just
So-
pictures, right?
Oh.
You know, Yennefer and what's his name? Okay, in anime looking, right? I'm like, oh wow.
No, I jokingly say that because the game that I play is Black Desert Online, where it's like very Eastern style, but not really anime, not toon shading or anything like that. Right now, I must admit, I do find myself attracted to more realistic, quote unquote realistic, more graphics like Black Desert Online, more so than the sort of the aesthetics, whatever you call WoW. People call it cartoony, and some people might call it toonish, whatever. But admittedly, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd still want to play it just because I'd love to feel that nostalgia. Like there is something about the sound effects, the way it looks, the just the ambiance of the entire game that does feel awesome, that I would like to, I guess, for the lack of a better word, rekindle. But other than that, I mean, I can't really think of anything that would make me
Right.
like
You hear
want
it
to
here
play
first?
for it.
Breaking news:
Anime.
Solomon is playing Shadowlands with all of us when it comes out.
Oh no, I mean, I run an MMO and RPG site. I have to play it. Like it's like mandatory. You
I was
know.
thinking that's also one of the requirements to be on the show. No.
Ooh.
So Yoshi
So-
says anime live MMO. I know one is called Mabingoji. Mabingoji.
Oh no, Mabinogi.
Mabingoji. Thank you.
Mabinogi.
Yeah,
To play
that's a
it,
fairly older one.
So
Yeah.
Solomon, I'm looking at your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Your screen to the right of you is a little laptop over showing now.
Wait, say that
You
again. You
fishing?
cut off.
Are you fishing in video right now?
Oh yeah, of course I'm fishing. There's a fishing event going
Yeah.
on.
That's right.
He's doing his dailies, guys.
That's the thing. If World of Warcraft
Yeah.
had a fishing, okay,
They
All right,
do. They do have fishing events.
I know they do, right? But I hate fishing in that game because you got to literally go. You watch, you watch, you watch, click right at a time, right? You
Oh,
just
I love
can't
fishing in WoW.
other
Relaxing.
crafting. Wow, you can hit the button, and just can walk and turn your attention away. All right, here's the question because we all know about Blizzard. We've all experienced Blizzard. We are gamers. Blizzard has its ups and downs. We know that the BlizzCon this year hasn't been canceled yet, but because it's the end of October, November, it might be canceled this year. I think, and right now, a lot of conventions this year are going to be canceled for 2021. And we know what happened. Blizzard did a great job last year with BlizzCon. Everyone's excited. Then Warcraft 3 came out and wow, okay. Also, the previous year, BlizzCon, where they go, hey, Diablo, Eternal. Y'all have phones, right? Y'all have phones.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, phones.
Or it's like, nah, you don't want classic, okay? So we're not gonna do that for you. I'm curious because of all we've seen on the alpha, we've seen all these YouTubers who are just extolling the virtues. I don't think they're paid off. Extolling the virtues. We've seen a lot of openness and from Blizzard itself, the devs, and excitement. Curious, has Blizzard turned over a new leaf? All this openness and listening has folks extolling Blizzard's virtue, especially and has a Costas. Gotfuz, what do you think?
I don't know that they turned over a new leaf, but I think that there was someone in management who was like, now I bet you if we do classic and it does well, we should probably pay attention. Like there was probably one or two people who were like, I bet you money it'll work. I'll put my paycheck on it. And they put their paycheck on it. And right now, like we talked about before, classic is
layering.
so hot that they have to layer it again.
Yeah,
So
amazing.
So I mean, some people can, hate and want to have an anime waifu all they want, but classic, a 16-year-old game, still has more players than some
amazing.
other MMOs that contain anime waifus. But I don't think that they've turned over a new leaf. I just think they realized who their demographic is. Like I
Right.
think they lost who. I think that they always wanted to give us good products, but really the people who are working there right now are the people who used to run elitist jerks. They're number crunchers. They love
Right.
love number crunching and simming. but they didn't realize that the way that you keep the core people and the hard gain people isn't by making the game dumbed down and simple and just homogenized.
Cool. Solomon, what are your thoughts about this? What do you think? Was Return the Corner?
No,
Are
not
they,
really. Well, okay, maybe it's a little bit of both. Because like the thing that really irritated me, and I'm gonna try to be as least political as I can, and not really put my own sort of biases and preconceived notions, is the whole thing with Blitzchung. Like that really
Oh, right.
irritated me.
Yeah.
And
Thing.
and when that happens again, like when this COVID is all done and gone with, and when Hong Kong like decides, hey, we're gonna start protesting again, I have a feeling that Blizzard's gonna bend the knee again to the communist Chinese whatever they're called. Or I keep forgetting what their official title is, the Communist Party, and because they see cash, they only see cash, and
Yeah.
a second reason why I think it's a little bit of both, but maybe not really, is the remake or the Warcraft 3 and how that became such a huge disaster. They wanted to rekindle, in my opinion, the same success that they had with original WoW, and they said, hey, let's do the same thing, but let's do it with some of our other games, like our RTS games. So they remade Warcraft 3, and it has like a Metacritic user score of like 0.5 now or something. I don't know, something absurd, because it's just like, they try to cash in my opinion, they try to cash in with putting the least amount of effort as possible, and it was blatantly obvious if anyone bought that game. So
Yeah. Well, my son made a comment. He says, I asked the question, right? What do you think? He goes, Activision. I mean, I know the companies are in for profit. I mean, that's the only way you can keep people employed, only way you can increase or improve your infrastructure, make new games, right? You gotta make money. So I mean, that's the only question. We maybe trust Blizzard. We don't necessarily trust Activision. Okay, so I don't know. So
yes, Gotfuz.
Yeah, real quick before I lose
Oh,
it,
yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's where I think of what Blizzard did before Activision. Think of the game that they were like, oh, this game is trash. We're gonna get rid of it. We're not gonna release it. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of StarCraft Ghost, right? Everyone was
Oh
hyped for that
yeah.
game. Hyped.
Wow.
And they were like, this game is trash. And it's staying in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
But now with Activision, they're like, send it. Send it. We'll get some money.
Full send.
Yeah. So Zaziel, you're next up. I think you made the same comment before about how Blizzard used to be very much like, nope, not doing that. And now Activision are like, well, let's release it. So what are your thoughts about this? Blizzard turn the corner? You think Activision maybe letting Blizzard do some good stuff?
Well, again, and we have talked about it before. I just want to be very clear here that there are two different companies playing at this. There's there's a lot of different cogs in this answer. We do have Activision, who's the parent company, who is beholden to their shareholders.
Yeah.
They're beholden to make sure that every little penny that they can milk out of their players is milked, and they do only care about the money. It is extremely obvious that they have done exactly what you guys said, that they have said, we don't care, just push it out. If you need to patch it later, we'll patch it, whatever. Just put something out there right now. We haven't put something out in so many months. Our shareholders are getting nervous. People are trading their stocks and da 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 da, and they're, we need more money because I want to buy a new yacht this year for my wife for our anniversary. And unfortunately, that's capitalism. And, I can't fault them for wanting to do that. I mean,
Right.
it's very grateful and prideful, and there's lots of other things we could take from a Christian angle why that's wrong, but it's another time, another conversation. But you can still see that there are the people at Blizzard that are working down there in Southern California or down here with me, just a few miles south of me, but they still love the game. They still love us. They still want to put out good products, but they have this almost communist China-like company over them saying, "We come on, come on, come on, get it out, push it out, push it out." It's not, and they're going, "It's not ready yet. This is gonna bomb," and we don't care. Just patch it.
Right.
Give them, Ian, go on there with lore, make a little silly video, pretend like you're answering live questions on Twitch or wherever else you're at. I know if you guys are here, I love you, Ian. Well, lore a little bit more, but Ian, you're okay. Okay, so anyway, and they push them out there, and they're like, okay, you guys, they're gonna hate you, and we don't care because we get to, like I said, we get to go on that yacht tomorrow or go play golf with Donald Trump or whatever it is. We don't care. And man, it just sucks because
Yeah. It's
like I
rough.
was, we've talked, Kenneth, and I know you and I have talked about it several times about the good old days back when Blizzard had that motto of, we don't give release dates. It
A
comes
lot
out when
of
it's
companies had
done.
those models. Yep.
We put it out when it's done. They
Yeah.
worked on the original vanilla Warcraft forever, and it still had issues when it released. Believe me, I was there. I was there day one, and it was horrible. They had to shut down the server so often they were giving us free days onto our account. I
Mm.
think at one point I actually got like 2 weeks worth of free play time because their servers were so messed up. It got better over the years, but oof, it was rough. But
Yeah.
man, there was a lot of heart put into it, and you could tell those guys. And when they screwed up, they got on to social media, which was like MySpace back then, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, and they, apologized profusely, and they were like, "We screwed up.
Right.
We are sorry. I know you guys hate us. You want to throw rotten tomatoes at us. Wink, wink." And they were right. We were mad. We were like, "We want to play our game, and we can't raid." And it. But they cared, and you could tell. And I think they still do care. And everyone that has gone to their offices, to their headquarters, has said the same thing. They said these guys are working their butts off. They're not
Right.
getting paid as well as other companies are getting paid. They're not getting the benefits like healthcare benefits and whatnot that you can with X, Y, and Z companies. And they're working overtime for free. Sometimes they're working Saturdays for free, getting called in, and they're being told push stuff out when they're saying it's not ready. And so I feel for them, and so no, I don't think anything's turned around. I think that the upper up guys, the guys that I'm talking to, you guys that are on the yachts right now, probably right now actually, right? Because it's Friday night. I wish I was on that yacht. I'm just jealous. That's all. I
No,
haven't
that's a
gone
fair
fishing
sentiment.
in like a year, guys.
I mean, we
But
all want companies to make money because
oh,
if they don't
absolutely.
make money, then they won't be around next year.
Well,
But
if
we
they
also want
reinvested into the game, though,
right. But we
right? Yeah.
all a good example is that the stream we had with Far talking with the devs from Amazon Games for New World. We're
Oh, right.
like, hey, you know something? It's okay if you have to delay, as long it's good. We are willing to accept that. Nothing worse in the world having hit Warcraft 3 than having a game come out and we're like, what? I mean, short term gain can be a long term pain, but I'm willing to accept the fact that a late delay means a better game.
I
That will that
refunded
that
Warcraft
will
3.
Yep, that's a very good
Well,
point.
they lost money on that.
And that's going to
Yeah.
be a test here for Shadowlands. BFA for the longest time. I played the alpha of BFA, or not the alpha, but the beta BFA, and Warlocks, Affliction Warlocks specifically, were awful. They felt awful without the Legion artifact. It just did not work, and everyone said it, and there was like 400 forum page saying it, and nothing
Yep.
nothing of the class has changed. Nothing has
Yeah.
changed. So right now, starting this alpha during this, outbreak and all this great stuff going on right now is going to give them the opportunity to now have the alpha go on, have the streamers play it, have everyone give their feedback of what they're seeing, and then hopefully during the beta what they're experiencing, and they could say, you know what, we're not ready to put it out. We want to
Yeah.
put out a good, you know what, we're gonna delay it to
Yeah.
2021 early.
So they have
We'll
that
give you a
ability now.
discount, because they could take the hit. I mean, I know business
Yep.
law. They could write it off on their taxes
Yep,
and stuff,
they
take it
can.
as a loss. So I mean, there's a way to make it smart work business like and not jeopardize the game. And I think that kind of Jazil hit the nail on the head with that. They haven't been looking at all their options. They've just been looking,
Yeah.
let's make the quick buck rather than, well, maybe we need to take a hit to make a bigger gain, because the bigger gain was during Wrath, and Wrath was delayed, but it was amazing.
It was
Amazing.
awesome.
Yeah. So Yoshi says, I'll stick with virtual fishing. No bugs for me. All right. So that's a good segue into our class quest, right? So it's kind of like tailor-made to your class because there are class abilities coming up. There's a whole ton of them. Check them out. Go pick your favorite class and see what it is. Okay. They're also updating character creation, clean and modern, better off. Okay. So I want you guys to pick a class you may have looked at. I know Jaziel mentioned that he worked at Warlock, right? Because so many changes with the Warlocks. I'll go with him first. Warlock, the changes they're making for that Warlock. What do you think? Good or bad? Talk.
Well, I wanted to just go more in general
Sure.
because if we even just Gotfuz and I just bring up 2 characters, there are so many changes for every class right now that we'd be on here for another couple of hours easy.
I know. Go see the websites
and that's
for
why
those.
when I went and looked at that list, I thought it was honestly going to be like the other expansions have been, where it's they change 1 or 2, maybe 5 things, and it takes me 5 minutes to read every change in the game. And I got on there and I was like, scroll, 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 scroll. Are you kidding? Wow. And so I did. Yeah, I kind of went, well,
So many
okay.
of them.
What I'm going to do is just look at Warlock, which was my favorite at the time, and Gotfuz again. I got to give you a virtual high five here. I was Affliction. I'm sure Fuzz remembers that. I was Affliction, and everyone was like, "What are you doing, dude?" And I'm like, "I don't know," because I came back from a little break, and man, it was horrible. It was unplayable, unplayable, and that's why I switched to demo. And I love demo or destruction. Sorry, and why did I say demo for? I don't know. But anyway, I did destruction and it was just awesome. But these changes are just, I really think they're gonna be fun again. Because we actually
That's
have
good.
options for one. That's probably the biggest deal here. Is that from what I could see for that, I also looked at Mage, and I looked at Druid just very briefly. I wasn't as happy with Druid, but the Mage and the Warlock, uh, we have options again. It's not just a one-trick pony kind of thing that it's been in BFA, where, as I said earlier, that you've just got like literal rotations of 2 or 3 buttons. Especially if you put them into macros, it's like you could maybe even get away with just hitting one button over and over and over and over. And I don't necessarily miss having 4 bars of spells up on the screen, but
Yeah.
I do miss having options, and I see that we're going to get that again. At least that's what it's looking like right now in alpha. And again, uh, not happy with you guys, Activision, but Blizzard, you guys, you devs, they're in the sweatshop down there south of me. You guys rock. So yeah,
All right.
I'll
What
just
about
keep
you?
it in general.
Sorry.
I mean, if you want specifics, I could, but it'll take a long time, and I'm already long-winded as it is, guys.
Okay, got what about you? Okay. Oh, see you later, Joshi.
So yeah, with the changes, so like highlights of the changes here. It is the alpha, so I give that pre-thought that you need to put in your mind is that many of these changes are the initial changes, and I think that they rushed the alpha out. I feel like they have. They haven't said that they have, but I feel like this is like still very early alpha. I feel like it's still very early alpha because there's certain classes where you're just like you're watching people and it doesn't flow, and Blizzard always tries to create a flow. So what's going on here is balanced druids. Our waifu friend is laughing.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm making him laugh by typing in the document. Sorry,
It's
Gotfuz,
okay.
my bad.
So our
My
waifu
fault.
friend is laughing. It's okay. So the balanced druid, right? So balanced druid went from a class in which you had a bar on your screen. They don't have the bar anymore, but they used to have a bar. And if you were close to this end, you would have certain spells do more damage and cast faster. And if it was close to this end, you would have other different kinds of spells that would cast faster and do more damage, right? So depending on where it was, you had like 6 to 8 different moves you needed to do. And then they went away from that for Battle for Azeroth. Everybody hated it. I think for Legion too. And now they're bringing that back. They're also changing the way shamans play. They got rid of Maelstrom for enhancement and elemental shamans, and they're going back to their old ways of playing as well. Essentially, what we're seeing here is the great unpruning of not only abilities, but a higher skill cap of how to actually play the game. You're going to actually have options where you have to think of, is a 5-man cleave ability going to work better than a 10-man cleave ability or rotation? It's not going to be a one size fits all kind of 1 2 3 4 or 1 2 3 3. It's going to be more of the people who are really good at the game are going to shine above everyone else as they should, and there's
They
going to
should,
be
yeah.
it's like to use a simpler analogy, it's like adding in all the different kind of dribbling patterns you have into an NBA game. Imagine if they took out all the dribbling patterns and you only had a basic crossover. All you could do is pass it from your right hand to your left and your left hand to your right. That's what Blizzard initially did with the rotations. They were
Boring.
that simple. So they had to make the raids so dumb and hard and complex to make the game fun. So now what's going to happen is they're going to be able to entertain the fact that you have to have a hard, complex rotation and we'll see how hard the raid is. It's yet to be released, but the ability pruning is going to be the best for everybody. And I'm hoping that they've mentioned it. They added a global cooldown to every move, and for those who don't know what that is it's basically a 1 second timer. You hit your move, and you'll see a 1 second duration come around on the move, like a
Right.
loop. But basically, what that does is if you have a trinket, you hit that trinket, that's 1 second. You hit an ability, that's 2 seconds. You hit another ability, that's 3 seconds. It feels very clunky. So they're telling
Yeah.
Blizzard came out and said, you know what? If it's clunky, tell us, and we'll look into it. And that's another kind of thing we mentioned before. Blizzard's actually listening.
This whole discussion seems to me, again, this is like earlier comment about his Blizzard turning the corner, is the fact that it seems like Blizzard is listening to their main core player base. Not the game for everyone, but those who will be the ones that will take this game and play it over and over again. I wouldn't call it hardcore, right? Because they are going to be hardcore, but the basic gamers, not the easy gamers, the ones who are mobile. Sorry, I probably insulted some. That may be an insult, but it's something they're listening to the actual player base, the ones who really care about WoW, not the ones they've been trying to chase in the past with 12, 13
Right.
million subs. They're chasing the 6 million subs who really care.
I think that's where our waifu friend Solomon hit the nail on the head with the Star Wars reference. It really is like Star Wars. It really is. They tried to make it better, and they just destroyed it. They
With
ruined
Galaxies or SWTOR?
No, the
it
movies.
with the movies.
Oh,
They
movies.
tried
Yeah,
they tried
yeah.
to cater to the people who aren't loyal. They try to cater
Yeah.
to the people that aren't buying tons of toys.
Fair enough.
You know,
That's
all
true,
this
dude.
all the
a
sweaty
good point.
nerds were like, what do you mean Luke is doing this? And the same way
Yeah.
that the sweaty nerd here was like, you're taking out snapshotting? Are you kid? Like, what's going to distinguish me as a Death Knight from that pitiful Death Knight in the 1500s bracket? Like, what's.
Yep.
And then they add in corruption, and
Yep.
he could be as good as me? Come on.
Yeah, good point. Solomon, any comments about the class abilities? You saw the whole list. I know I kind of like, whoop, I didn't really look at them because there's so many of them. I didn't care. I'll see what happens when they finally finish it.
Yeah, I mean, I have fond memories of playing the Death Knight, but that's about it.
I
'Cause-
would still encourage you guys, like you just said, Death Knight, and I know Kenneth likes playing tanks. You know, it is a long list, but at least go look at that
Yeah.
that class that you were playing
Right.
last.
The Pally, I was looking at the Pally
For
earlier.
Solomon, it's been long. When was the last time you played?
right before Cataclysm.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Well, the game is completely different now,
Yeah.
so I don't know if it would be if that information would
No, start
lure
over.
you more.
Yeah, wait till
I don't know.
Shadowlands comes out. Start over.
I don't know if that's the hook in the mouth for you to come play with us when it comes out, but
Well, I think,
yeah.
like I said, if I'm running an MMO and RPG YouTube channel, you have to at least understand what the top dog is like.
Got to, man. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, what kind of
He's committed. You heard it here again twice now. Okay, so
now?
all right, you know,
That's not to
so
say that I'll be
you know-
playing like 3 months. I mean, well, I mean maybe more, maybe longer.
right. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's okay. I mean, yeah, Battle.net is saying 2020. A lot of us here are speculating
Nah.
2021. I know that good example is Amazon Games with New World has said when they delayed their game from May to August that yes, while their employees are working from home and they are doing wonderful things, the idea of collaborativeness in the office was underrated, and now they understand how important it is. So my guess is Blizzard, same thing. They're in Southern California. They will probably be having to delay this because they didn't quite get everything they done through their agile process that they planned. So, well, fine. Okay. So maybe 2021, but that's fine. Get it right. Get ready. We'll be okay.
Well, and I'm hoping it's 2021 because I do want to play New World.
That's
Get a couple
yeah.
months in
That's
there.
fair.
And
Yep.
if WoW comes out in Q4 of this year, I'll probably just I don't think I'll be investing as much time in New World.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think Solomon, what I would say is come level with us, raid with us even, do some PvP with us, and get that real full experience so you can give that good review of, you know what, it may not just be for me, or be like, you know what, big hit on the block is big hit on the block for a reason. Because
Yeah.
I've been telling people
Fair
so
enough.
many. I used to be the graphics guy. I used to be like Gran Turismo, man. I'm gonna get Gran Turismo 3 because the graphics are better than Gran Turismo 2. The soundtrack's better. It's newer. And then I played WoW, and WoW tipped my whole world upside down to where I was like, this game looks awful in alpha. I'm talking WoW Classic alpha. Looks awful,
It did.
but it feels amazing.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's a fair point. But in my analogy, there's one company that I didn't talk about that would kind of go against what I said, which is Harley Davidson. And yeah, they kind of go against the example of Star Wars, and you know, because like I said earlier, I don't know where exactly I fit or where my opinion lies between the two arguments. Because if like yeah, in Star Wars they didn't listen to their core fan base, and I would argue that they did relatively bad. Whereas Harley Davidson's doing that, but they're still hemorrhaging money because you know their customer base are all dying because they're getting older. So
Yeah.
like I'm saying, it goes both ways. And so to Gotfuz, it's like, yeah, I get it. Like you know, like tab targeting, like I really have to like force myself to play it with that fact alone, admittedly. So yeah, it goes both ways, like I said.
Change to action combat. That would be so cool to play that game, action combat, but it's just
Yeah.
not. It they would have to redesign so many elements of
So
the game.
much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's all I'm saying is like I'm gonna go in there with like an open mind for sure, because I mean that's probably more than what a lot of gaming journalists does these days, right? So but yeah, it's just I just do have my preconceived notions as a human being. We all do. And yeah, I'm still gonna try it, like I said, but yeah, we'll see.
He's saying we're gonna
That,
have to.
by the way, is our World of Warcraft special edition. Thank you so much for being with us, Kay. Thanks for being here, Kay. Thank you so much for Gotfuz for suggesting this idea, for making this happen, because he said, let's do a one-off. Willing to do this, right? Great, fantastic. So where can we find you? Where can we find you if you want to see you? And by the way, what is your current MMO you're playing right now?
Current MMO, I'm still playing WoW, right? I still play that. Yeah, I know it's crazy. I still play Tuesday, Thursday, and Monday. And everyone always asks, well, why do you say Tuesday, then Thursday, then Monday? Because Monday comes first in the week. Well, I'll tell you, Tuesday comes first in the WoW and MMO weeks because
Oh,
reset
yeah,
day.
you're right. Yeah, that's a good
Tuesday
point.
is reset day. So
Reset
Tuesdays,
day.
Thursdays, and what
Wow.
is it? Mondays, I don't get to do anything else that's really special, except for right now I'm working from home, so I stay up late. But I'm playing WoW. I play Destiny with Shadeless and them, and Amateur James. But you can catch me on Twitter mainly, G the Tricker at G the Tricker. That's me.
Very,
I don't really stream much. Not a streamer.
really quick. What's G the Tricker mean?
Okay.
He told me this.
should
I asked him a
clarify.
question.
So tricking is martial arts flips. So it's the combination of taekwondo, breakdancing, and tumbling, and it's mixed into one sport. So
Wait, Taekwondo,
taekwondo, breakdancing,
breakdancing,
and tumbling.
tumbling.
Gymnastics, tumbling.
Oh.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just like,
So like what the idea was like, oh, okay, I could do a jump spin kick. Okay, that's cool. But can I do 2 kicks in the air? Now can I do those 2 kicks in the air out of a cartwheel and add a flip? Now can I do those, and then you just kind of keep adding on all of the moves. Well, now can I do a jump, spin, and then kick, and then spin 3 times and then land on the ground?
that's your next Twitter video. Is you doing that?
I can do it. I could still do it.
Are you serious?
I want to see
I'm
that, because
31,
I mean
but I
that,
could still do that.
Wow, I never would have guessed.
amazing.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I'm skinny as all I get out, but
Do you
Well, that part we
still
know,
do
okay.
do you parkour?
that's terrifying.
Oh, really?
So when you learn gymnastics and when you learn tricking, you learn to jump really high up in one spot
Yeah.
and land on that exact spot, right? To jump as high as you can and land. And then sometimes you'll learn to do different moves. So you could do like gainer, 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 and just keep going. Well, parkour is like, well, I'm gonna jump up and I'm gonna flip over that ditch.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Come on, hashtag YOLO.
I used back when I used to jump on trampolines, I learned how to do a front flip in one spot
Wow.
and land on the same spot. I tried front flipping from trampoline to trampoline, did not go great.
That
Oh,
is-
wow.
That's
Yeah, you
Fair
can
enough.
jump for 3 months. And
I
then-
mean, type in Gotfuz. Okay, but
There's
there
the
it is,
plug.
okay.
so the other part, that's the tricker part. The G part is I used
Gangsta.
to teach martial arts. No, not quite. I used to teach martial arts, and when I taught martial arts, there were 2 of us named Gardner in our last
Oh.
name. We weren't related, so I was like, "Well, what are you guys gonna call me?" Well, you're gonna be Mr. G. So I was Mr. G. So everyone just called me
Okay.
G.
Wow, cool. Thank you so much again for the idea of doing this. Awesome. You gotta put a Twitter video of doing that. Solomon, what about you? Where can I find you, and what MMO are you playing?
Right there. I'm
Oh,
playing
video,
that.
Video, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, never mind.
Find me at Whiskey and RPGs on YouTube. That's primarily what I've been doing these days. Solomon SK on or Solomon SK on Instagram, for Solomon SK TV on Twitter, and but yeah, just mainly Whiskey and RPGs.
That's SK. Don't ever listen to Alan, who calls it NK. Anyway.
Of course.
So Jazeel, where can I find you at, and what are you playing these days?
You could find me here on Twitch as well as Twitter. That's pretty much, other than Discord, that would be the three places that you can find me. I am in other places, but don't expect a prompt response. uh, yeah, for Surge Azil on all of them, and then I've been just really playing the Elder Scrolls Online. I am alpha testing a game that I have since been informed that I'm not allowed
We're
to.
not to? Really? Seriously?
That's what I'm being told. We're not even
Hmm.
supposed to be saying that we're in that alpha. So there's a game coming out later this year that was
August.
supposed to have been coming out sooner, but COVID happened. But apparently, I can't tell you guys. I can't share anything yet. But boy, when I can, I'm going to have a lot.
I saw all those posts. I'm like, what? You can't really say that. I'm like, okay, we're fine. Okay, that's,
I
think they're misreading NDA.
I
Okay,
don't
but
want. I am really enjoying helping them out, work, get all the bugs out of the game, and get it running better. Because it right now really one of the biggies is it's not optimized real well. So I've been really enjoying trying to help them out on that end with coding and whatnot. Although the I don't know how far into the conversation I can go with it, but what the game runs on is a pretty new system. So
really, okay.
yeah, it's not the Unreal Engine or any other popular ones. It's a newer one. So it's really is he doing that to me or is
Gotfuz
I'm being your
is
I'm being,
animation there.
you know,
yeah.
that person that's behind the president that's going.
Yeah, you're right. But anyway, it's great. I look forward to sharing more with you guys later. And
Yeah.
and I was not before all this information dump that we got, and it was huge. That's why Gotfuz is here. We got a ton of Shadowlands information. And
Amazing.
2 weeks ago, I almost thought I was kind of done with World of Warcraft. I thought I know I talked to Kennethan and Fuzz and a couple of the other guys that still play, and a couple of the girls too that still play. And I was like, well, I'll probably buy Shadowlands. I'll play through the story, and then that's it. I'm not gonna raid or do any of that stuff anymore. I'll just get rid of my sub after I play through the storyline and go back to ESO or whatever. But I don't know, man. This information we got is making me think I might be back in the grind. So I'm very happy.
So, okay, thank you so much. I'm Kennethan. You're watching this channel right now. I'm Kennethan, so you can find me at Kennethan Live on Twitter, Kennethan on Twitch. Okay, so I've been playing Elder Scrolls Online, the game that we cannot talk about, as well as Champions Online. I've also been playing other games too because I've been playing. I'm a terrain guy, so I play terrain Railway Empire. I need to finish my Jedi Fallen Order.
You've been saying that for
And
months.
I love it. I mean, I know. I hope Gotfuz never gets the idea, the fact that when he comes in to my stream says, "This isn't WoW." I'm upset. I love it. It was right. It's not WoW. It's not WoW. So yes, he's right. And that's the thing is, and same words to Jajiel said was that, I mean, I was stoked when they did the BlizzCon review for Shadowlands. I'm like, yes, because it played to my Wrath of Lich King. I loved it. The whole trailer of the fact that Sylvanas went up to the rich Lich King and took his crown, and then she broke it. I mean, I'm like, I'm invested. I'll play this game. But then I played Classic, I played Retail. People started falling away. So I went to ESO. And then these stuff, all this stuff that Gotfuz kept pointing me, because sending me the DMs, just like, whoa, okay. And then my son talking about it and whatnot. I'm like, wow. All right. I'm stoked again. Okay. I agree with Jaziel. I'm hoping this comes out months after New World from Amazon Games, because I want to play New World and then do WoW. Okay. So we'll see how it goes. I'm also a guy who have Kickstarted a lot of games, so I keep waiting for those games to finally release. A good example is Camelot Unchained. I've invested in Mark Jacobs. He's one of those guys who definitely listens to his community, and that's what Blizzard seems to be doing. And that's what really gets me. I'm like, has Blizzard turned the corner? Possibly. We'll see. We'll see. I've always said that whenever I'm talking with Colt on Agree to Disagree, or even here, the fact that
Fact of the fact.
wait, way to go, Gotfuz. Type the word gospel and just my chat blows up there. Okay, so the biggest thing about any game you play out there is what's the story, how's the gameplay, then what the graphics. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.